If you just joined us, you're welcome back. You're watching the News at 10 broadcasting on Channel Television live from Lagos.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
We now bring you some of the pictures you sent to our eyewitness portal. First is this one from Lagos-Ibadan Expressway showing a fire incident our eyewitness reporter says occurred when a fuel tanker fell and exploded. He wants tanker drivers and other road users to exercise caution on our roads, especially at this festive period. Next is this one from Kaduna City in Kaduna State showing an overloaded motorcycle. Our eyewitness reporter wants men of the Federal Road Safety Corps to monitor road users more closely. And finally, we have this one from Ado-Ekiti in Ekiti State showing a long queue for fuel at a filling station. Our eyewitness reporter says fuel scarcity is still biting hard in the state. Thanks for sending the pictures. You please keep them coming.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Adamawa State government has sent an assessment team to Madagali after a twin suicide bombing left 17 people dead and 41 others injured. This comes as the Adamawa State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Ahmed Sajo, says that government has directed free treatment for the injured. Mr. Sajo is also appealing to residents to be more vigilant to prevent such attacks and report suspicious movements and objects to security agencies. The Commissioner urged that the state government would intensify enlightenment campaign program in the area to reawaken the people on security consciousness. The President will tomorrow, Wednesday, December 30th, host his first presidential media chat. During the program, which will be broadcast live on national television and other broadcast stations, President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to field questions on a range of burning national issues from a panel of journalists. According to a statement by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, the media chat will begin at 7 p.m. local time. The program has remained a major platform through which every past Nigerian president, beginning with the return of democracy in 1999, has kept Nigerians abreast of government's activities. Channels Television will be hooking up for the broadcast. Former Information Minister, former Aviation Minister, Mr. Fani Kayode, has written a strongly worded open letter which he says is private to President Muhammadu Buhari. In the letter, he cut along to what he calls some contradictions to the campaign promises and the current actions of the federal government, describing them as dishonest. Mr. Fani Kayode criticized President Buhari for what he calls the penchant for blaming his failings on the past administration, particularly with reference to the war against corruption. In his words, quote, "You continuously contradict yourself when it comes to this matter, and frankly, such flip-flops are unworthy of the office that you presently occupy. We, your subjects, look up to you for consistency, strength, unequivocal commitment, a firm resolve, and the leadership from the front that you promised during your presidential campaign in this war." End of quote. He cited as example the president's claim that the past government never bought arms and instead squandered and stole all the money. Yet, when the British Minister of Defense visited the presidential villa, the story changed. He claims President Buhari said former President Goodluck Jonathan bought some weapons with raw cash. Speaking on the war against terror, Mr. Fani Kayode criticized President Buhari for saying that scores of innocent civilians were killed by Boko Haram in Borno State, whereas, according to him, a whole community was burned to the ground in Maiduguri. In conclusion, he advised the president to be mindful of the fact that, as he puts it, Nigerians are watching and their patience is being put to test. We have more on the News at 10 from our Abuja studios, now with Linda.
Hello, Sulaiman, and welcome to Abuja. The group campaigning for the rescue of the Chibok girls has demanded the reinstatement of soldiers who were jailed over alleged cowardice during the military operations against Boko Haram. The Bring Back Our Girls group, led by its co-convener, Dr. Accuses, made this demand, among several others, at a meeting with the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami. Mr. Malami advised the group to explore the Freedom of Information law and ensure that details of the fact-finding committee report on the missing Chibok girls is made public to Nigerians. Our correspondent Gloria Umezuke reports.
About 48 hours to the end of 2015, and still no word on the rescue of the 219 Chibok schoolgirls. The Bring Back Our Girls group are giving an extra push to their demands that the federal government release details of the fact-finding committee report on the mass abduction in April 2014.
Every bad behavior that impeded their immediate rescue must be fully prosecuted.
I wish to state that the Freedom of Information Act is available for exploitation in that respect. And whatever has to be done in that respect will treat promptly any request, any demand for disclosure of committee report that has to do with Chibok girls. No report will be hidden.
The meeting took a different dimension when the group asked the Attorney General to ensure a reprieve for the soldiers sentenced to imprisonment owing to their inability to fight the terrorists without weapons.
The soldiers were subjected to trial and eventually convicted, and upon conviction, the sentence was magnanimously commuted by this government.
It is unjust. We're saying it is unjust. Yes. The circumstances, the revelations show that the soldiers were being, their leaders were evil to them. It is unjust to say that you will commute them. You're not doing them. This nation is not doing them any justice.
For whatever it
There's
is.
no magnanimity.
For whatever it is.
No country puts its citizens.
Doctor, let me talk.
The minister then advised the group to make their request in a letter to the federal government, assuring that the government would continue to stand by justice, especially through a newly established national prosecution team set up by the government. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
The Nigeria's head of service, Mrs. Winifred Ekanem, has vowed to sanction any civil servant who failed to resume work after the public holidays. Mrs. Ekanem, who spoke to Channels Television in Abuja, condemned the low turnout of workers at the Federal Secretariat as they resumed from the Christmas holiday. According to her, civil servants who add additional days to the approved holidays will be penalized. The Federal Secretariat in Abuja recorded very low turnout of workers on resumption after the public holiday. Some of the resuming workers attributed the reason for the low turnout to a possible annual leave that some of the civil servants might be enjoying.
Most people go on annual leave towards December period like this to celebrate the Yellowtide with their aged parents and other loved ones outside Abuja, and so most of the times it could be as a result of people being on holidays.
The reason why you are not seeing very many people now is that some people are enjoying their annual vacation, so to say, And again, you should not forget to understand that some could be exhibiting some unpatriotic tendencies.
Meanwhile, others believe that since the public holiday is over, it's time to get back to work and ensure that no backlog is allowed to spill into the new year.
Everything have to run up. The program and activities of workplaces have to be rounded up as scheduled. So there is no doubt about it. Nobody will tolerate any leftover.
While some civil servants were already at work when we visited, quite a number of offices at the Federal Secretariat were empty. The head of service said civil servants who are absent from work will be sanctioned.
For those civil servants that are fond of playing trance, those who want to take extra days when they should have resumed and they have no official reason for staying away from work, I want to let them know that their days in the service are numbered. All officers up to directorate level will sign the attendance register. And I believe that those registers have been opened after the last service-wide meeting we had in November. So, any civil servant who thinks they will continue playing trance will soon find that they may not have it as easy as before.
The federal government had declared last week Thursday and Monday as public holidays. With the holidays over, workers are expected to get back to work. And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Sulaiman.
Many thanks, Linda. When the news at 10 returns, Minister of State for Health visits Ekiti State, pledges reforms in the public health sector. Do join us again.